live stream on WGRZ Plus. This is Daybreak Plus. We will talk about the Bills coming up in just a bit, and we will talk about other news happening across Western New York. But the big story really today and over the next couple days is this lake effect snow storm that's on the way, and these really cold temperatures, wind. I was at the game yesterday, Patrick, and everybody got the alert on their phone during warm-ups about 90 minutes before the game, and everybody's phone went off in the stadium.
And
that
your
was
eyes
there.
were drawn to the life-threatening text.
Right.
And whereas that was a warranted alert, I think it was just that everybody was at the game thinking, oh my gosh, is that for now?
Right, and it was for 24 hours from now, which was at that point yesterday.
Tonight through Wednesday, where travel in these lake bands could be life-threatening if you were to get stuck, because it's going to be so cold. So let's get to it, show you what's going on. We've got some lake effect snow that's kind of disorganized at this point, but it's still happening, especially across Niagara County into Orleans County. And we also have, you can see right along Route 18 here, Wilson to Alcott, we've got the snow, and in towards Batavia, we're getting some snow. Also to the south, some lake snows south of Hamburg, but into Concord. It looks like Kissing Bridge, you're getting into it. Java, Varysburg into Wyoming County, and that's where the snow continues and will enhance as we head into later this afternoon and certainly tonight and tomorrow. Current temperatures, it's only 5 in Olean, 7 in Jamestown, 13 in Dunkirk, 12 in Buffalo. Luckily, it is breezy, but it's not terribly windy yet. But the wind will come into play, bringing wind chills down to below zero in many areas. You can see, look at these current numbers. This is where the air is coming from. 7 in Detroit, 4 below in Milwaukee, negative 13 in Minneapolis, Duluth at negative 19, even Des Moines is at -2. So that's the cold air coming across the open lakes that's going to help generate this lake effect snow. In fact, take a look at the lake effect snow that will be beginning to organize as we head into the afternoon across southern Erie County, and it's going to set up right over the Buffalo South Towns again, like so many of these lake effect events have already happened. And it looks like that lake effect snow will continue into the overnight tonight and tomorrow morning. It could lift north to Buffalo tonight, potentially, settling back across the South Towns during the day, probably tomorrow morning. But then it does begin to lift north towards Buffalo during the day tomorrow into tomorrow afternoon. Some of that snow could be heavy and with very cold temperatures and wind chills that will be below zero. That's why if you're traveling in this, sometimes traveling in deep snow, you can get stuck, and you don't want to get stuck in conditions this cold. So just a heads up, snow showers will come to an end on Wednesday. There might be one last gasp of snow showers as it all lifts to the north during the day, and that would be it. Now, snow totals, this is for the duration of the event. You'll see that we have 18 to 24 kind of in the bullseye, right over the Boston Hills into Hamburg, Eden, Went Beach, Brant, Derby, it looks like maybe down towards Dunkirk, 6 to 10 for Buffalo, 4 to 5 farther to the north, and the 6 to 10 up towards Niagara Falls or the Lake Ontario shore is basically the snow that's going to be occurring today. And here are some of those really cold wind chills that are going to take us into tonight and tomorrow morning. All right, long range forecast looks like this. A weather impact alert hoisted for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for the cold. Snow showers coming to an end by the end of the week. But notice temperatures rebounding into the 20s, even the 30s by the weekend. And for the South Towns and Southern Tier, the heavy snow really gets going later today, tonight, into tomorrow with those cold numbers. Overnight lows well below zero. 20s, it appears, as we head towards next week. So this is the harshest of winter weather that we'll probably see all season that will be occurring over the next couple of days.
Yeah, it's going to be nasty over the next couple of days, but then we're getting back into things that we can handle. And but we talked about it a little bit earlier in Daybreak, but it really does seem like this is setting up for most schools in Western New York to consider canceling or probably to cancel tomorrow.
Got a hunch.
With the cold, the snow, the blowing snow, and salt does not work on roads when it's that cold. It's going to be treacherous.
That's the difference between the last couple lake effects, where temperatures were in the 20s and low 30s. This is, single-digit, low teens. So
yeah, and everyone's
very
going
cold
to be
wind chills.
seeing that lake effect snow band. It's just
Pretty much. Yeah, I think
setting up in the normal
It's going to get into Buffalo this time too. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we will stay on top of it, and we'll talk more weather in just a little bit. But first, we have to talk Bills. We want to talk Bills, don't we?
Was this a great game, or did we get lucky? Analyze.
Does it really matter?
Deep thoughts.
The Bills held on
Yes.
to win a game that could have easily gone into overtime. Take a look.
We'll roll, flip it, got it. Oh, the ball was dropped. He had the two-point conversion in his hands. Andrews did not hold on.
Yeah, that one play could have changed everything. And you just, have the Buffalo mentality of nothing will ever go our way after something like that.
Now, had he made the conversion, it didn't mean they won the game. We had 90 seconds to take the ball back into field goal range to win it, or then you have overtime. But still, that guy doesn't drop anything, apparently. He and
the ball
Lamar,
went right to his numbers. I mean, it couldn't have been a more catchable ball.
And they have a great relationship, those two. They were drafted in the same draft class. They've thrown and caught the pass together so many times, and in the most critical moment.
Yeah.
Even Jim Nance got it. Oh, no, we dropped the ball.
Right, and that's what the entire crowd was like, too. It was like, oh.
Right.
Just hearing how into the game the crowd was the entire time, it was just spectacular.
Yes.
And to know that there's one game left to get to the Super Bowl. But let's talk a little bit more about this game. Again, the Bills beat the Ravens. They held on 27-25. Josh Allen didn't really put up spectacular numbers, but he did score 2 touchdowns, and Ray Davis had his first postseason touchdown as well. And it was really a game that showed the Bills' defense rising to the occasion. With those turnovers, they were really, they kept Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry at bay. And our Lindsay Moppert shares more on the highlights from Orchard Park.
History is repeating itself here at Highmark Stadium as the Bills beat the Ravens 27-25 in the divisional round, now punching their ticket to the AFC Championship game for the first time since 2020.
That's what we've worked for, is an opportunity to play another week. We don't want our season to end on a loss, and this gives us an opportunity to keep going, but we'll enjoy this one. A lot to learn from this one. Obviously, wasn't pretty, but these playoff games, man, you got to win by 1. That's all that matters.
Before, they got the best of us. And, coming out of that game, I knew we had to see these guys again. So you just kind of compartmentalize that, put that in the back of your mind, and you open up that can of worms right before the game. Especially, I know that's what I did. I opened up that can of worms. I remember exactly how I felt, and that kind of helped me, gave me all the motivation I needed.
We focus on us. We put all of the pressure on us. We don't really, overthink about the opponent. We dial in, we dissect the opponent, but we don't, Patrick Mahomes, Derrick Henry, no. They have a good run game, they have a good pass game, they have a good quarterback, MVP caliber. What are we going to do? We're going to win up front, we're going to communicate, we're going to do what we do well, and that's, play that Buffalo Bills ball.
It's a sense of relief. We're definitely going to celebrate this win for the next 24 hours like we usually do, but we know the job's not done. We're not happy with just being where we are now. The goal is to keep going. But for now, we're just going to enjoy this win and to be 10-0 at home this year. It's been fun.
And talk about revenge. The Bills will now travel to Kansas City for the AFC Championship game next Sunday to face the Chiefs in the playoffs for the 4th time in the last 5 seasons. For now, on your side here in Orchard Park, I'm Lindsay Moppert, Channel 2 Sports.
Alrighty, so if you want to be part of all the action and you're thinking of making the trip to Kansas City for Sunday, tickets are going to be tough to come by. They go on sale today on Ticketmaster, but with 2 different pre-sales before the Bills fans can really get their hands on the tickets with actual tickets from the team. So Bills fans actually have to wait until noon when they go on sale to the general public. The seats that are already up for grabs on the secondary market, here you can see them, are about $300 for the worst seats in the house. That's not including feeds though, so around $350 for a seat. You could be looking to pay at least $400 on the secondary market. If you want to sit down in the 100s though, you're going to be paying closer to $1,000 a seat. And then you've got to get to Kansas City, which flying from a Friday to a Monday, our Natalie Foss was looking at some ticket prices for this weekend. Tickets are $1,000 to fly to Kansas City because they jack up the prices for Buffalo to Kansas City.
Do we make it that difficult for other teams to have their fans come here?
Well,
I mean, jacking. Why is it like, I don't know, it just seems like.
I think, and you know, obviously hotel prices are really jacked up as well. But, you know, Bills parking lots, the prices go up during playoff time. And so everything is.
12-hour drive? Remember Jordan Poyer took that drive when he punctured his lung?
Yeah.
And he got a rental van and drove there?
Your memory. Yes, yes.
And I think he said something, it was like a 12-hour drive. So I don't know.
Yeah, and if you're going with family or going with 5 people in a car, everyone kind of splits up the drive and splits up the gas prices, and driving, hopefully weather-wise, driving to Kansas City from here on Friday might not be too bad.
No, it does not look like the weather will be. I mean, Friday, Saturday, the weather there looks fine. It looks mild, actually.
Oh.
30s and 40s, I think. So weather should not get in the way. But that's a heck, you drive to Florida in a day.
Our families are very different. We talk about this. Driving to Florida would take you about a week with your family, with how many stops that they want to make.
To Erie, Pennsylvania, and we're like, okay, that's about it. We're going to keep
And I'm like, 30 hours straight. Let's just do it.
Right.
All right. So we will talk much more sports and getting ready for the AFC Championship game on a brand new edition of Sports Talk Live tonight at 7 o'clock. The experts will be talking about it. They'll break down the Bills-Ravens game and then look ahead at what we can expect going into the AFC Championship. It's at 7 p.m. right here on Channel 2. And I don't know. I think a lot of people thought that the Ravens were going to be the tough team to beat, and the Chiefs are beatable. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But, you know, we spent a lot of time last week getting excited just for Bills' former quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick, to be the legend of the game and get the crowd going. And he really did not disappoint, did he? Let's take a look. Yep, Fitz made good on his promise, and he ditched his jersey and his jacket, and he went bare-chested to fire up the fans, reminiscent of 3 years ago when he did it during a playoff game as a fan in the stands, even though he was still playing for the Commanders at the time. I've been lucky enough to go to a bunch of games this season and have seen other players be the legend of the game and do the same thing with the AAA, and where else would you rather be than right here, right now? The stadium was never more excited to participate than they were last night with Fitz magic. It was magic.
Was he as popular when he played here as he is now?
No.
Right.
He was beloved.
Right.
But
I think now he's kind of taken on a more
fanboy role.
And more, you know, would he have had the same reaction had he done that 10 years ago, you know? He also played here during the height of the drought, so it wasn't as much to root for. But that was awesome to see. Yeah,
it was so great to see. And the crowd was just really, you know, Bills Mafia and the 12th man really does play a role with the team. It was so loud on third downs for the Ravens, and you could hear a pin drop when it was important plays for the Bills, and just the reaction throughout the game to like. Did you see Josh and all the players doing this a lot? Yeah. You keep it down. Oh, and also Matt Collins dancing throughout the entire thing. He's just so much fun. And you just love that he loves playing as much as he does. He just like genuinely loves the sport, and it just makes everyone feel so good. It feels good to be a Bills fan right now. But the legend of the game is just one of the many traditions when it comes to the Bills. And from players to fans, some are serious when it comes to traditions and superstitions. One Bills Mafia member, for example, took a somewhat unconventional mode of transportation to get to Highmark last night. Why drive when you can just run 17 miles, right? Brian Goldsmith began his journey on foot yesterday morning from Hurdle Avenue, and in that frigid cold weather, he ran a total of 17 miles to Orchard Park in honor of number 17, Josh Allen, all to raise money for charity.
It's just kind of grown every year. I come home and do it for the home opener every year. Then the fundraising element I started a couple years ago. And I've been fundraising for Wings Flights of Hope. And every time we've done it, we've done over $1,000. And it feels really good to be connected to the city. And love coming back home for this stuff.
Yeah, coming back home because he actually lives in Texas now. So he flew home to Buffalo for the game. This was his 10th time running to the stadium. That's dedication. I mean, running in the snow.
With the helmet on.
With the helmet on and the outfit. But it would actually, Patrick, was not that cold before the game. I think the tailgating time
it's weird. Sometimes you get into the stadium. The same thing happened the week before.
Yeah.
I took my coat off tailgating, left it in the car. Once you got into the stadium, it's like, oh. Now it's
cold.
Only 30 degrees.
Right.
Yesterday it was 17 to 18
Right,
degrees.
and warm-ups, it was really wet snowflakes too, and it just was pretty nasty out there. And so, but you know, fans stayed warm and figured out a way to make it work and went shirtless, and it was great. So the weather really didn't stop anyone from having a great time. All right, let's talk about the other big story today happening right now. We're going to take a look at what's happening ahead today in our nation's capital as President-elect Donald Trump will take the oath of office for a second term. It's going to be an historic ceremony, too, because for the first time in 40 years, the inauguration is taking place inside because of the cold weather. And NBC's Alice Barr shares the latest from Washington.
Today, the nation's 45th president becomes the 47th in an inauguration day as unusual as President-elect Trump's path back to the White House.
My administration will take immediate and decisive action to confront every single problem America faces.
Only the second American president to win non-consecutive terms, he'll be sworn in inside the U.S. Capitol over concerns frigid cold temperatures would be dangerous for the hundreds of thousands of people who were expected on the National Mall. 20,000 will now watch on big screens in downtown D.C.'s Capital One Arena.
We won!
Where the president-elect rallied supporters on Sunday and plans to rejoin them after he's sworn in.
The curtain closes on 4 long years of American decline. We're going to stop the invasion of our borders. We're going to reclaim our wealth. And we are going to make America great again.
He also made a solemn visit to Arlington National Cemetery after a phone interview with NBC News outlining his day one plans on everything from saving TikTok to mass deportations of migrants, saying, quote, "We're going to start with the criminal element," and planning pardons for January 6 defendants, a stark reminder of how his last term in office ended. A second impeachment, 4 criminal cases with 1 trial ending in conviction, 2 attempted assassinations, and a resounding election victory later. President-elect Trump and the nation now preparing for his historic return to power. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And be sure to tune in to Channel 2 here later this morning. NBC News will have live coverage of the inauguration from Washington, D.C. The coverage starts in about 40 minutes right here at 10 a.m. and you can watch it again on Channel 2. And as you heard Alice mention, TikTok is back after going dark over the weekend. Users who opened the app were briefly shown a message that said TikTok is working to restore service and gave thanks to Donald Trump. So it's down for about 4 hours. The president-elect says that he will delay the ban 90 days with an executive order. And let's talk about the Super Bowl now, shall we? It won't be long before all eyes are on the Super Bowl, which also means that we are getting closer to the one time of year when we actually look forward to seeing commercials. And Kaylee Harding has a preview of what we can expect this year for Super Bowl commercials.
Every Super Bowl comes with supersized ads. And this year, some major players are going all in, hoping to score big with viewers. Doritos, bringing back its famous Crash the Super Bowl contest, crowdsourcing ideas from the public.
What do we think about the commercials?
Personally, I like the one with the chip.
Insightful.
I think they all had chips.
Got it. With one of these 3 finalists now set to receive $1 million payout for the winning ad. Companies like FanDuel also teasing ahead to the big game with some trusted fan favorites, setting the stage for Manning versus Manning.
The FanDuel Kick of Destiny 3 is my destiny, Peyton. You and I both know this.
Not if I make it first.
While others, like Pringles and GoDaddy, are keeping fans guessing.
So many of these commercials, they're treated like movies. We get the trailer and then we get the actual commercial.
Why are these spots so coveted year after year?
The NFL is just so popular. They have cast such a wide net. Yes, Taylor certainly has helped with that, no question. It's rare that we have an event like this where pretty much everybody is watching.
The demand for airtime during this year's game, unprecedented. Fox reportedly selling out all ad slots for Super Bowl 59 in November. A 30-second spot going for a whopping $7 million.
That's just the cover price. The budgets end up being really similar to like a small movie.
But for so many companies, the steep price is well worth the investment. Anheuser-Busch, known for its quintessential beer commercials, says it's returning to the Super Bowl this year with 5 different ads, running a total of 3 minutes. Also hoping to see green, newcomers like Ritz and Duracell, both entering the stadium for the first time with highly anticipated ads. Though most commercials still remain tightly under wraps, experts say to expect major star power and ensemble casts, a winning formula behind some of last year's most popular ads, like Uber Eats.
Remember when you used to be a pepper lady?
Wasn't it the Cinnamon Sisters?
Basil Babes?
And Hellmann's.
You lasted longer than most.
Returning brands like Reese's, already giving fans a glimpse of their Super Bowl spot, promising to deliver another unforgettable comedic experience that'll have people buzzing on the big day.
Okay, what's your favorite that you can remember?
It's so hard. I mean, I do love the Clydesdales and the puppies with Budweiser. I love Betty White commercials for Snickers. And I'm trying to think. I want a mix of funny and emotional.
And
I want to cry.
Right.
But locally, and I don't mean, I know this sounds really silly, but the Channel 2 commercial from years ago, I think it was even before your time, but the Goo Goo Dolls Better Days commercial.
Oh, yeah.
I was not at Channel 2 at the time that ran.
You saw that.
But I saw it, and I was so moved by the beautiful images and the Goo Goo Dolls song, and I had no idea what it was for, and then all of a sudden it was Two on Your Side. And I mean, but the whole room, the whole Super Bowl party just stopped because everyone saw this local commercial that was so beautifully done. And our team here that put that together, and locally, it is one of the best commercials of all time.
The one I remember the most, I forget what they were selling. I think it was a car, but it was this little boy dressed as Darth Vader, and he wanted to use the Jedi Force to make things move, and nothing was working.
Right.
So he goes outside, and his parents are inside, and they look out at him, and he's trying to get the car to start, and they turn it on and he does it, and then his reaction, it's like, it worked.
Right. I remember that ad too, but here's the thing, we don't remember what car company.
It was, I think it was for a car.
Volvo or something. It was for a car.
Volkswagen.
See?
Yeah, but it was, I mean, for something like the Channel 2 ad, and this Volkswagen one was also maybe 10 years ago. If you remember it 10 years later, you know it had an impact.
Yeah. I just like a mix of emotional, funny, and then ones that were like, what did I just watch?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so we will see more previews, though, for Super Bowl ads throughout the week, and we'll be talking about, next couple weeks, I guess. But also for the Super Bowl, while we wait to see who's going to make it to the big game, we know one thing is for sure, that game day outfits can sometimes set the tone. And it doesn't have to be the Super Bowl to have an awesome game day outfit. Look at Mac Hollins yesterday. He is ready for a beach day. He's even got this sunscreen on the nose, and he's walking barefoot, of course, as Mac Hollins always does. But it's 20 degrees outside, and he's just like chill and cool as a cucumber, and wearing the Zubaz swim trunks, which I love so much. I mean, the previous week, Patrick, he was Fred Flintstone. He's had amazing, funny game day outfits all season long, and this one kind of took the cake, I think. It was great. So what'd you think?
I think, it was awesome. I mean, that's kind of his character.
Yeah.
Does he do that at away games? Like, what's his arrival into,
That's
Arrowhead
a great
Stadium?
question. I don't know. What's he going to wear next week? We will find out.
And do you think the sports training staff are like, okay, you're walking on bare feet through snow and salt?
You're right.
You don't want to hurt yourself, or freeze your, the palms of your feet.
Again, I just love how much fun he has.
Yeah.
He just makes it so enjoyable.
And I think it's contagious through the locker room. All right, here we go. Lake effect snow warning for Niagara and Orleans County until 4 o'clock this afternoon. To the south of that, for Buffalo and to Batavia, lake effect snow warning goes into effect currently until 4 a.m. on Wednesday. And then for southern Erie, Wyoming County, and the southern tier, that lake effect snow warning continues until 10 o'clock Wednesday morning. So it is about to get quite snowy here and cold, it looks like, in the days ahead. Here's what we've got for today. 14 degrees with some snow showers, but the snow's going to pick up, especially tonight and into tomorrow. Temperatures only around 11 degrees. That's the kind of cold that's coming. And it looks like we're going to see that chill last into Wednesday as well. So here we go for the next couple of days. Here's kind of the focus. We're going to see snow 6 to 24 inches, wind chills 15 to 25 below zero, especially tonight through Tuesday night. The timing, again, this wintry weather will take us into Wednesday as well. So we are seeing some snow showers continue across the Lake Ontario shore along Route 18 here, where the snow has been heavy at times. Also to the south, we're getting some snow showers. Not so much in Buffalo yet, but we've seen it kind of begin to develop and increase across the Boston Hills. And this is the area where the lake effect snows are really going to get going tonight and into tomorrow. Temperatures also a lot colder than it's been with the lake effect snow. Last lake effect snows that we had, back in December, temperatures were in the 20s to low 30s. We're going to see numbers much, much colder as cold air from the north and west just continues to funnel across the mostly ice-free Lake Erie. If you've driven by it recently, you've noticed the ice along the edges beginning to form, and that will really increase, I think, in the days ahead. Lake effect snows beginning to organize this afternoon. It looks like, especially across southern and central Erie County. I think the snow will make it to Buffalo. If not tonight, which there's a chance, certainly tomorrow, we think that lake effect snow will make it into the city and then begin to settle south of again, as you can see that lake effect snow continuing all the way into Wednesday morning. And again, snowfall totals, the places that got it in December twice are the same places that are going to get it this time. That's Hamburg, East Aurora, Orchard Park, up towards West Seneca, and then into the city, about 6 to 10 inches of snow. And wind chills, again, this is tonight, down to 5 to 15 below zero, in some cases 20 to maybe 25 degrees below zero. There's the weather impact alert for today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. 20s, though, resume Thursday, Friday, with a chance of some snow showers, but nothing terribly organized at this point. And for the south towns in the southern tier, we're going to see periods of snow and cold. Look at your overnight lows well below zero, and daytime highs only in the teens, even single digits for many tomorrow, but rebounding into the 20s by Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend.
Okay, and even amidst all of this cold weather, there are still things happening across Western New York to celebrate MLK Day today. Lots of festivities happening. We've got links to all of that and the information on our website, but there are also ways to save and some deals today. The Aquarium of Niagara is offering discounted tickets if you're looking for something to do with the kids as they're off from school today. In honor of MLK Day, the aquarium is taking $7.16, $7.16 off of admission, which lowers the price to about $18 for adults, $11 for kids. The aquarium is open until 3 o'clock today. Explore and More also is offering $5 admission as a way to honor the legacy of MLK Day. Another great thing to do with the kids as they're off from school. There's going to be special programming based on his life and teachings with interactive and educational activities. It's good for the kids to know why they're off from school today and what this day is about. The museum's open from 10 o'clock to 4 p.m. today. And again, all kids are off from school today. It is very likely.
I have a hunch.
Yeah.
I have a hunch.